Voltron Network.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the DC versus Marvel podcast, where we talk about the latest DC and Marvel movie news. My name is aka Mandius, and I'm joined today once again in the red corner, representing Marvel Comics. My boy Eds, how you doing, bro?
What's happening, guys? I'm good, man. How you been? Decided,
I'm all right, man.
I decided to
Oh
rep
yeah, yeah,
DC
yeah.
today
I like that.
because
I
of
like that.
your lack of dedication to your DC. I figured I have to throw you guys a bone. So
I know I got Power Rangers on today, which is even
oh,
even
gosh.
worse, right? So yeah, I will at some point wear some DC stuff, man. But yeah, until then, Eds is representing. But actually, today this is the part of the cast where we're talking about where we're talking about Star Wars. Then this is the neutral ground. This is where we can
Mm,
both kind of come and talk about it. And now we're on Mandalorian. What episode is it now? Four?
four.
Or
Yeah.
episode four, which is chapter fifth.
Well,
Yeah, chapter something. And this is after kind of like it seemed to kind of regain its mojo in the previous kind of episode, and it was a kind of carry on from that. So there's a lot of things to kind of talk about through this. This was directed by Carl Weathers, and it seems
Apollo
like they're
Creed,
following
baby.
that. Yeah, it seems like they're following a lot of that kind of template with like they do with Star Trek, where it's like after a while, like, do you want to direct an episode? Do you want to
Yeah.
direct an episode, kind of thing? And yeah, it's good that obviously he got to direct that. So this episode focuses on the fact that Mando's ship is so crap now, patched up by the Mon Calamari.
In 30 minutes. If it gets fixed in
Yeah,
30 minutes, if that.
yeah, yeah. By this Mon Calamari, engineer or something,
Mm,
and he manages ending up, limping basically, and they're going to end up having to go to his old kind of haunt basically, to go and find Carl Weathers and Gina Carano, basically to kind of help him, resurrect the Razor Claw, right? So,
yeah.
what's your overall thoughts of this episode to start off with?
I was feeling that it was kind of meh up until halfway, but then it kind of the action kicked in, and that little chase sequence was actually pretty cool. The way they shot it and all of the little stuff like driving the tank over the edge of that little cliff and the
Yeah,
speeders chasing him down, like all that stuff was cool. But then it fed into a bigger story when we saw like the experiments and we actually finally got an idea of why they need this baby Yoda thing for its blood. And we started to actually get more into the bigger story, which we really could have gotten in the first season. I really didn't need to stretch it out this long.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We could have got into that there
Yeah.
basically. So I think one of the interesting things is it looks like they're they're trying to kind of tie everything together, like every sphere of live action Star Wars. And I kind of like basically like I find this really interesting because I wrote a while back like a thing about Rise of Skywalker, about how to like fix it and stuff like that, because I was kind of bored one day and put it online. I think I showed it to you, like what I would have done to Rise of Skywalker and stuff like that. And it seems to me like, and I actually put in the WhatsApp group that we're all part of. I was like, yeah, you guys should do on Talk at the Movies, like how to fix it. Like basically, if there's a movie that you don't quite like kind of like change things. And it was just
That's
like
actually
tumbleweeds.
that was
It's
actually,
just
I
like
think I missed
tumbleweed
that
going
one. Yeah,
across.
that's actually a good idea.
Because it's like nobody replied to that at all. And I was like,
Problem
okay,
is,
fair enough.
the problem is Salem's never there. See, he
Hmm.
can't do it. And Mo just doesn't seem to have the imagination to really get into like rewriting or reconceiving a movie. He's like, I don't know. It's fine as it is. Good luck.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I was kind of like looking at it and thinking, okay, are they trying to like so you've got the thing about the child's blood, and they said it's got a high M count, and obviously they're talking about
Yeah, the
midichlorians now,
chlorians.
which was one of the things that people kind of didn't like about the prequels. I mean, one
Everyone
of the
hated
things,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
But
every
it's canon now, so you got to include it. It's there. They mentioned it. So, but I like that to say
yeah.
M count, which is a nice sort of simple way. Then just that's it. M count. That's it sounds scientific enough. But
Yeah, yeah. So and it's obviously like that. There's a scientific basis behind
yeah,
it, but I guess that there's like a sometimes when I see things like this, I kind of think, okay, well, Star Wars is a very kind of magical kind of thing. It's all like, these like monks who go around with their lightsabers, and there's an evil side and a good side, and blah blah. And I find it interesting when it's like this, because if that was happening, right, you would have scientists like good and bad,
mm,
who would be trying to find out how the hell can we weaponize this, especially the
yeah,
fact that they know that it's like it's based on having these kind of things in your own blood, you know what
yeah.
I mean? So there would be considering the fact that they can't reach a lot of stuff in the outer rim and things like that, there'd be like a ridiculous slave trade and everything going on, of
Oof.
like them trying to find like kids who have got this, and
Yeah,
trying to breed people who've got
yeah.
this and stuff, and it can go proper dark, right?
Mm.
So I thought that was interesting. What did you think about seeing Carl Weathers and Gina Carano again?
They were cool. The other dude annoyed the hell out of me. The one who returned from the first season, that guy who was his bounty, the blue alien, annoyed the hell out of me, man. I was like, why does this guy need to be there? He doesn't need to be there. He's not.
He's like a it's like a Neelix kind of character, you
Yeah,
know what I
just
mean? It's just
annoying.
like
Brings nothing to it that anyone else couldn't have just done. Like, doesn't these people exist in the underground of the Star Wars universe? None of these people could break into through the security in the door and know all these skills. Like, he didn't need to be there. He wasn't funny, so.
yeah, yeah, and I think they kind of a lot of these things they just bring in for comedic effect,
Yeah,
because my son laughed his head off when he saw Mando and that thing like sprayed out, like basically pissed himself, basically,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's kind of like sprayed out, and my son's laughing, and I'm just like, that's not even funny, man.
Wow.
That's just stupid. But they're going for 5-year-old kind of humor kind of thing. Um, the one thing I did find interesting, and this is kind of like a wider context for this there as well. Have you been seeing all the stuff that's been going on with Gina Carano on social media and stuff like that?
People are like a dog with a bone. They don't want to let all that stuff go, and she is kind of trolling them, keep poking them in little small ways, but it's just silly. It's just silly.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, obviously they wanted to keep her in. They want to keep as uh, as a main kind of character, like main side character.
Mm.
For those of you guys who don't know, Gina Carano seems to be on, I guess, what do we call it, conservative side kind of thing, and likes to post out a lot of conservative stuff and
Mm.
anti-mask stuff and random stuff like that. And obviously, like, a lot of people don't like that. And she didn't when people were talking about trans rights and all this kind of stuff, and they asked her to say something about it, she kind of refused to say anything, which is
Not even
entirely her
that.
right, I guess.
Not even that. All they wanted was for her to pick a gender pronoun or whatever it is on the profile. That's it. Say you're a her or a him or a she, whatever. And she was like, no, I don't wanna. I don't wanna have none of that. It's just my name on my profile. That's it on her Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's what people got mad at her about.
People just want to like get mad at her about something, but
Yeah.
now there's the additional thing there as well. I'm just okay. Now, how do I put this in a in a polite way? How do I put this in a polite way? Is Gina Carano pregnant? That's what I
No, but she's
need
always
to know.
struggled with her weight throughout. Because I used to follow her back in her MMA days during
Yeah,
Strikeforce,
same. I
and
mean, in
she,
MMA, she was obviously training
yeah, she had to
daily.
cut. She had to work hard to cut her weight down to get to that fighting weight. But naturally, walking
Yeah,
around, she's thick. Her normal body type is
Yeah.
very thick, and she's gotten thicker for this season. So
Yeah, because the main thing that I know, and I've just got this thing about people running, right? Because I always the main giveaway for me for any kind of green screen or anything like that is somebody running, right? And that's why I always kind of thought, whatever I think about the Marvel stuff is when you see Chadwick Boseman, and I don't know if it is actually Chadwick Boseman and Chris Evans, when they're running and they're running like against each other and stuff like that, even though it's green screen, it's like they look like they're running down a street, or they look like they're running over the plains or whatever. Now, the problem is a lot of the time it's very difficult to kind of, pretend to run, because then you look like you're waddling around basically, right? That's compounded if you're bigger, because then it really does look like.
I did notice that she did look uncomfortable when she just looked like she was gassed. Like, who knows how many times I had to film that. This is probably like the 10th time, and she was just like, okay, again.
Yeah.
It just didn't have nothing in the tank. That's what it looked like. Yeah.
That's the thing. She looked like she was struggling, when she was running and stuff like that. And the thing is, this is like, I know this might sound rude or whatever, but to me, it's kind of like, okay, if you're in Hollywood or whatever, I guess that's your kind of job.
Yeah.
You're meant to be looking like somebody who lives out in this world where there's not
That's what I always expect. This is your body is your livelihood, comes as well as the talent, but she isn't really a great actress, so you think that she has to work extra hard to kind of have the whole presentation come together. Oh yeah, that's what I always think. That why, if this is your livelihood, this is how you make your money, why do you let yourself go like that? But yeah.
Well, this is the thing as well. Like, you could tell they use certain tricks when they have somebody, actor or actress, who isn't like that great, right? And one of the tricks that they use quite a lot is, instead of using dialogue, they might use a feature that person is is a good feature of that person, right? So they did. The thing I noticed in this is they do exactly the same with Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman and in BVS, where Gina Carano is just, for no reason whatsoever, just smiling all the time at Mando, right?
Yeah.
Sees him, gives the little like smile, because that's her trademark, right? And they do the same thing in Wonder Woman. Like, she just like gives a little smirk here and there, and and it's like, so they don't have to say anything, do any dialogue or act,
or at the very least, no long monologues, just short little replies like, yeah, no, you can't do that, that sort of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you can kind of tell that when they're doing it, which is what kind of makes me think when they're saying about rumors, like, okay, there's a rumor that Cara Dune is going to get her own series. I'm kind of thinking, I don't think that's going to happen, right? I think it's much more likely that Katie Sackhoff, Sasha Banks, and the other dude are going to get their own series more than anything else.
There has to be a cap to all of these spin-offs, because literally anyone who pops up in this show, it's like, you get a spin-off and you get a spin-off. It's like, no, every character can't have a spin-off. Just have like 3 at the very least. That's it.
Out of all of them, who would you want to see in a spin-off out of these?
Sackhoff, I get. That would be a very interesting one. It's different. I'm a little concerned about the Boba Fett, because I don't want Boba Fett without a mask. I don't just want him being just a scarred up guy just wandering around. That's not Boba Fett to me. But I see that, and Ahsoka, and that's it. That's all they need.
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't know how much different they can make Boba Fett than the actual Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I kind of think, like, what is the point in that? I can understand the Night Owls, because they're like a group where basically they're going to be doing raids, and it's very different because with Mando, he's on a mission to try and do different things and help people out, whereas these other guys are going to be like stealing stuff, breaking into something.
It's an ensemble that will be there every week together. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's why I reckon Boba, he's not going to have his mask, because they want to make it different from Mando, which again, it's like, I don't want Boba Fett wandering around without a mask.
I'd prefer Boba Fett to be turning up in an Obi-Wan series
Yeah.
as if he's got his mask off or whatever, kind of just turning up in that. I would prefer something like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, he'd have his mask on because it would be earlier, wouldn't it? So he would be at what timeline he'd be? He'd be a very young Boba Fett then, wouldn't he? Because he'd be that timeline is before he gets killed, before he goes into
Yeah.
the
Sarlacc pit.
Sarlacc. So whether they do that or not, I don't know, because it looks like they're wanting to carry on from now, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
so we kind of saw obviously they went on a raid in this like cloning kind of factory where they're trying to withdraw the blood from the child and obviously create these kind of things, and there's loads of obviously things that you think can be coming off that, right?
But that's the thing, is like, are they just making dark troopers to fill those suits that we saw at the end with El Polo Loco guy? Or is that also feeding into the Snoke thing? Because it was very reminiscent of the test tubes we saw,
Yeah.
the aborted Snokes at the end of Rise of the Skywalker. So is this actually feeding into the bigger story, like you were saying earlier? It's like, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the speculation is like, okay, do they need the midichlorians to make
Troopers, yeah.
the troopers, or do they need it to make a copy of Palpatine, which is much more likely a Palpatine copy would be better. But this is why, like, where all the speculation comes in with, I think you were saying last time, they better not leave Ahsoka to like the last episode, but it looks like that's what they're probably going to do, right? So Ahsoka's going to turn up in like the last episode or whatever, and there's loads of speculation of stuff because it looks like obviously they're tying everything in, and I think the ultimate money shot for this would basically be Ahsoka saying to Mando, look, there's no more Jedi, right? But my old master, I know him. We can go to him. And they go to Dagobah, but obviously Yoda's dead, and they see a young Luke instead. And it's like, that's the money shot to end the season, because people go flipping nuts over that. Like, seriously, it would just be like everything kind of tying together. And I kind of had to think like, okay, this is the new when we talk about all the stuff with COVID and all that kind of stuff, this is like the new kind of normal kind of thing. It used to be before you watch a film, that's the film, that is one thing on its own, and it's really a cop out to say actually you've got to watch the TV show or read the books or do this to link everything together. But given the fact that Disney are putting all their stuff into Disney Plus, actually it looks like all this stuff potentially you have to watch everything to link like all of it together.
That is kind of what Star Wars always did, though. Like with the former EU before Disney bought Lucas, all of that was canon. So it was just a matter of just the games were canon, the books were canon. So they did all connect everything together. So they've kind of always kind of done that, to be honest.
Yeah, but what I mean is like you you kind of like watch the it's like you can watch the film and it's like there's so many unanswered questions in the film. When you watch the original trilogy, there's not a huge amount of unanswered questions, but when you watch the sequel trilogy, it's like, okay, this kind of doesn't make a great deal of sense. And then you put all this stuff there. They're kind of like, it's a much better way of
to fix, but the spanner to the mess they made. Yeah, definitely.
A much better way than what JJ did, where JJ was just like, I'm just gonna just try and fit everything in this film and put it all together, man. So
baffles me how bad that went, man. Still baffles me.
It perplexes me to this day, man. You know, go on.
Like, you just couldn't plan one film to the next. You had to just wing it each time. It's like each director was battling over what the former director did. It was just what.
And also, I look at the choices and I kind of think, are you like say like if you know, we're not we're not professionals at anything, but you know, you've done some film stuff, and Salim obviously has done film stuff and things like that. But if we were in a room and we're talking about a script or whatever, and we're like, yeah, then this can happen, then this can happen, then somebody would say, oh yeah, but why don't we just do this? What if we do this? This would be so much cooler, whatever, right?
Mm.
And my mind just boggles at Star Wars, right? Literally, like that nobody just stood up in a room and just said, yeah, but why don't we do it this way? Like literally, okay, if at the end of Force Awakens, and I'm going into my fix it mode now,
Yeah.
if at the end of Force Awakens, right, you've basically got, because the whole problem was is that the First Order didn't actually look that powerful. That was one of my big things. Like the whole thing, they generally looked fairly weak. They weren't so overpowering that it was like whatever. But basically, you know, if you had like, they were trying to find Luke all this kind of time, they're trying to get messages to him, all this kind of stuff there, and it didn't happen. And then Han Solo dies, basically, right? And obviously you can that gets felt throughout the whole thing. You know, Leia does it. Obviously, Luke feels it there at the same time as well. And you know, you see a TIE fighter joining the battle, right? Of this, you don't know what the TIE fighter is, you don't know whatever, but they kind of join on. Doesn't show the pilot, anything like that. And then at the end, we've got Kylo Ren, and basically just having him just absolutely beating the shit out of you know, out of Ray and what's boy Finn, Ray and Finn, and he's literally about to kill them both. And when the lightsaber flies through the air, it bloody gets caught by Luke Skywalker. Then that would have made it like 10 trillion times better.
I've heard
And you
people
kind
say
of think
it makes so much more sense if they did that.
yeah, and it's like, you know, if you're in the room and they're like, yeah, and then Ray's gonna catch it, and then she's gonna use the Force to fight against you know, Kylo Ren. You'd be like,
Someone with
nah, mate.
no experience in combat, or at least with a lightsaber, like
Yeah,
instantly just be this expert fighting against someone who's been training since they were a baby. It's like just no one. It's like no one thought this stuff out. It's like
yeah.
what? Wow.
It's just mad. It's just mad, and it's mad that nobody even just went and said, no, let's just do it this way. And then they just because they had in the room, they had flipping, you know, they had Mark Hamill, and they had like you know, Lawrence Kasdan and his son. I can't remember what his son's name is, the one who wrote Solo. But
Maybe that's the problem though, man, with Kathleen Kennedy and everything. Maybe it's just too many cooks, because we know that Hamill always had his reservations, because he was always publicly saying that he wasn't happy with how he was depicted. So maybe people were, but there's just so many voices that it just all gets drowned out.
yeah, but what do you think now? Like with the way that the Mandalorian is, do you have a different appreciation for Star Wars with this than you would have done if it was just the sequel stuff there on its own?
Well, it's still early days, man. There's still plenty of time for them to drop the ball, man. But it is. I do like the fact that they are trying to fix things. Does it take away from, you know, the annoying problems that the sequel trilogy has? No, but you know, it does. It does make it. It does make it more interesting. Eventually, going back and rewatching those, just to see all.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. The problem is that they've kind of made their bed with with a lot of this stuff. So it's like, you know, when you know, Ryan's like you know, in his script saying, you know, getting Kylo Ren to say to Rey that your parents were nothing, they were whatever, and then the other one, actually no, your mom was Palpatine's daughter or whatever. Then it's like, okay, now with the Mandalorian, they got to somehow lead with that and be like, okay, this is in like the Return of the Jedi time, and you know, around that Return of the Jedi time, there's gonna be, you know, Palpatine's daughter around the bloody you know, the place, and
I'll
you know,
be very surprised if they actually get into that. I think if they do redress that, it will probably be one of the other ones, like an Ahsoka or something, depending on where that time period is. But I'm probably guessing one of those may deal with that.
Well, I can see like the way it's going to be good in a way that they're going to have different things for different kind of fans and stuff like that. Because I can see like the Ahsoka one is going to be like Indiana Jones. It's going to be like going and finding artifacts and trying to find the Jedi stuff and all this kind of stuff. And the hopefully the Obi-Wan one is just going to be him crying in the desert like all the time because it in the new comic that's just come out, it's basically like he goes to like every like few days or whatever, he goes to Anakin's mom's grave in Tatooine and like says to her, "I'm sorry for what happened to your son." So it's literally going to be a series of him just moping around like, "Oh my God, my brother, what did it?"
I've got no excitement for that because I'm imagining it's just going to be like Mandalorian, but instead of it being from planet to planet, it's just going to be on Tatooine. Just him in the desert, helping little groups of people in the desert.
Yeah, and he can't really use his powers because then straight away they'll know he's a Jedi, and if they know he's a Jedi, then the flipping, the Empire's going to come, and then it's going to be trouble. So just give me an old man walking around the desert.
You know what?
Doing old man stuff.
With all of these spin-offs, why can't one of these spin-offs be within the Empire? With a character within the Empire, and just to see from the inside how that builds, and like I want to see from that perspective. Show me the dark side. Show me how that rolls up. It doesn't have to be like someone who's a Sith or anything. It could just be someone who works in the ships with their cool uniform. Just give me that. That would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. And just like how they just reach this mentality of like we're just gonna go and do whatever and all this kind of stuff.
And if you're smart in the way you write it, you could kind of feed in to the way that Germans were brainwashed by the Nazis and Hitler, because it's the same, the 1-to-1 equivalent. So it could add that into it. How do you get convinced that what you're doing is the right thing? How do they justify it? Like, it could be really cool if they did that, but
yeah, like literally the rise of the empire. You know what I mean? Yeah. It could be like something like exactly what happened in Nazi Germany, which is basically like there was a war and they ended up getting bankrupted and everybody was poor, and then suddenly like this thing just starts rising, like and everybody starts to follow it and stuff. It will be pretty, because they are Nazis in space. Yeah. They could literally make it like a cool ass thing like that, which would be that would be proper amazing to kind of see them pull that off, man. Anyway, what was your rating for this episode?
I think because at the very beginning I wasn't that excited by it, but then it did pick up because as it fed in, so I guess I'll give it 3.5.
Yeah, it's once again another kind of fillery bit apart from the end, I guess, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. But the chase was cool, so I'll give it a little bit extra for that. I like seeing the speeders go over that cliff and just struggle to keep it, everything together. Like it still stuns me how good this looks for a TV show. Like we've gotten to the point now where movies and TV, there's no real, it's just
the CGI just flawless, man. It's just like literally flawless CGI, and it's just like it's amazing that it's got to that stage, considering the fact a lot of the stuff isn't painted in, a lot of the stuff is on a bloody screen behind them, and you just think, wow, it's just absolutely unbelievable what kind of stage they've got to, man. This kind of stuff, when I watch this and I watch Discovery, even though Discovery is really awesome, Discovery, the CGI doesn't look as good as this, right? Because this stuff is like just the shadows and the fact that there was that bit obviously when they're flying over, I can't remember if it was in the last episode or this episode, when they're flying over that planet that looks like Jupiter. That was in the last episode with the frog kind of thing, and then they come into that one that looks like the Earth and stuff like that. And it's like that's when these flat Earth conspiracy guys come in and say, yeah, it's all CGI by NASA because whatever, like, because we've got to that.
It's gotten so good, and it's going to get even crazier because I think actually I'm supposed to look that up. So I think Unreal Engine, what they used to kind of power all of this. They've been in contact with all these other studios, so everybody wants the technology now. So it's going to be insane to see what all these other studios do with this. The budgets are going to go down, which they needed to now because of the cinema situation, but it's just going to be so good, so cool.
The possibilities are like flipping endless, man. You could just create like other planets, just like kind of there and then, like, you know, oh god, I don't have much hope because of Greg Berlanti, but if they got this same technology for the Green Lantern stuff, can you imagine what this would look like?
That would do wonders for that. That would need it because you know that the CW budget ain't great. And I still can't believe they
it's HBO Max, but it's Greg Berlanti, isn't
it? Yeah. I still can't believe Supergirl's getting cancelled. That should have been the jewel in their crown. For that
should have been, but the writing was just so bad, and it was just all
why would you let it get that bad though? That if out of all of those shows, that should be the one that you put the most effort in because it should be what carries everything else. Your most recognizable character.
That's true. Well, a lot of their TV shows are getting cancelled now anyway. Like, you know, obviously Lucifer's going. I think Preacher's already finished. Black Lightning is finished now.
But they want to do some
Supergirl's gone.
Spin-off from that though, don't they? With some no-name character that I've never heard of.
Yeah. They obviously they want to do spin-offs, but who the hell wants to watch it? You know, nobody bloody watches Black Lightning anyway. But yeah, so you know, Black Lightning's gone, Supergirl's gone. Flash is still going. I don't know how many other speedsters he can bloody fight against, but that seems to be bloody still going at the moment. Arrow's obviously gone. Titans is still there for the moment, but it's like, there is like a dearth of TV shows, and really they could go ahead and just start like investing in these kind of things. But we'll see. So yeah, I would give Mandalorian 3.5 there as well. I'm looking forward to the other stuff. Hopefully we'll be seeing Ahsoka now, because they did, you know, they mentioned it 2 episodes ago now. Ahsoka, and his ship is fixed, so there's no reason not
so quickly
to do that.
So quickly, that thing was falling apart, and literally by the time he got back, perfect, space worthy, like
exactly. And it's crazy because you kind of think like, okay, they've got droids or whatever, but they don't have like, you know, like the Imperials, like a team of like 10,000 people who literally just come and
parts, like the materials, like come on.
You got to test it as well. You got to go into space and make sure it's all sealed, right?
That's always got me about sci-fi when they're in space. It's like knowing how difficult it truly is to get up there and to stay up there safely. When people's ships get blown apart and they're falling apart, and people just seem to be happily just sitting around, just flying around like it's no big deal.
Yeah. He's like, do you know, the thing is, if you know, like he was saying, oh, I've sealed the cockpit, but the rest has no integrity. It's like, mate, literally at any point the rest of your ship could explode. Boom. Right? And the first thing you'd be thinking is, let me land somewhere. Like literally it'll be like, I'm not staying in space right now, you know what I mean?
Is there a toilet in the cockpit then?
There's gotta be, right?
And food, where does that, how does he prepare food in the cockpit?
And food. Yeah, well, there's the macaroons, aren't there?
Oh God! I'm starting to hate Baby Yoda because he's not only is he killing embryos, just chomping them down in front, and now he's just stealing from other kids. Like,
I saw a thing there that basically saying that you know that film Problem Child. Can you remember that film? That basically Yoda is the equivalent of that problem child kid. When he grows up, he's going to be like a little shit. Basically, that's what it is.
I hope they address whatever happens to him. Like why, whatever this being is, well, the Yoda baby. Why isn't he mentioned? Obviously, they came up with this after the prequel trilogy, but how are they going to explain why this has no presence in that further time? Because you would have thought he would be important in some form, even if he's still a baby.
Do you think he, I mean, either go off with Ahsoka or something, or like, you know, go and become a Mandalorian, like an honorary Mandalorian kind of thing.
With the gold
So
mask.
yeah, so he has a mask, right? And nobody knows his hip. Nobody knows Baby Yoda because he's got the freaking mask. But remember, Yoda's species are like this tall.
Exactly. And the mask gonna have to have the ears like
Yeah, so he's had his ears sticking out,
worth
and he's
it.
about this big. Baby Mandalorian, it'll be hilarious, man. It's actually quite interesting because the actual Yoda doesn't grow that much more than the child, right? So it's like he's almost fully grown, and he's a baby pretty much, right?
Isn't politically correct, but is it possible that he's a little touched?
Touched,
Yeah.
as in, okay,
Yeah.
possibly,
Maybe that's
possibly.
why after being like 50 something years old, he's still he's
Oh yeah. Did he ever see? Oh god, this is like me talking about shitty films there again. Now there was a film with Marlon Wayans where he's like basically like he plays it.
His head on the baby. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
god, so
it's the
terrible.
worst. He basically plays it. He pretends he's a child because because he basically is a bank robber and he wants his diamond or something, and so he pretends he's a child and gets adopted by this family basically so that he can go and sneak into this place and steal this diamond, and it's like a fully grown man on a baby's body. Yeah, that would be one hell of a turn for the books, man, if that is like that.
Maybe
but,
all those experiments they did on him, man, it did some damage.
yeah, it's it prematurely aged him and messed with his mind basically. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, let us know what you thought about Mandalorian episode 4. You can email us on DCVS Marvel Pod at gmail.com, and also go to the website DC versus Marvel Podcast. Let me know what you think about what I said in the previous Trench episode about the social media stuff, because it seems like I'm potentially going to shut that down, but the Facebook page. The Facebook page. However, I want to get your guys' feedback about it and then see, because the only reason why I have a Facebook profile is literally for that page. And I'm trying to, if possible, get away from Facebook. But then I need to keep that page open. But I want to know what you guys think. If you guys want me to keep it active, I'll keep it active. But because I've deleted Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff from my phone, multiple reasons. But yeah, so let me know what you think about that, and me and Eds will be back because there is some DC and Marvel news coming up. We'll be talking about that there as well.
About the Brazilian Wonder Woman's coming up, all the other news. You have to get into all of that.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that stuff there, and you can catch Eds on the other podcast there in the meantime, which is
Talking at the Movies. Go check it out, guys, on all podcasting platforms and on the Voltron Network YouTube channel.
Yeah, until then, guys, we'll see you again next time.
Later.